The Britannia Challenge Cup between the rowing club from Copenhagen and London Rowing Club. On the right of our screen, rowing wearing the caps.
Perfect conditions down the island for these boats this morning. A good line to start with, off the start as well.
Well, London Rowing Club always very well supported here at Henley Royal Regatta. I saw this London crew take to the water, and there was a corridor of club mates cheering them on and supporting them as we see them coming down. We've moved on about 2 minutes into the race. We're just the other side of the barrier, and it looks like it's still very tight.
And the crew on the left-hand side is the London Rowing Club. They pre-qualified, so they've got a good pedigree this summer. And the Copenhagen crew, they were one of the selected crews, one of the sort of seeded crews, if you will. The red on the right-hand side of our view. Still very close. It's hard to tell from this view. If anything, it looks like the Danish crew, a little bit of a lead. Looking slightly longer and more composed at this point in the race, but not even halfway yet. Long way to go.
Still a long way to go. There's experience in the Danish crew that we see. Mark Hartstein in the bow seat. He's represented Denmark at the Under-23 Championships 3 times. This is his second time at Henley, so familiar with the course. He'll know they've just come through Forley, that's halfway. And I can see from that board on the right that shows number 1 is leading. That's station number 1. That's the Berkshire station, which is that crew from Copenhagen.
Again, as in the previous races, big weight difference. London, a stone a man lighter than the crew from Copenhagen. And in a Coxford, that might really tell towards the end of the race. Although this is London Rowing Club's top-ranked club crew. Finished 7th in the Championship Coxfords at Marlow Regatta in June, and 6th in the same event at the Metz Regatta earlier that particular month. So they've done really well this summer.
Well, this is that important phase of the race now. It's into the third quarter. They're coming down past Upper Thames Rowing Club. They'll be coming to Remenham Club. That's where the London Rowing Club support might be there for them. That's where they might look to make that lift, where the Cox, Megan Neville, lying in the front of the boat, will be looking to lift her crew before they get to the enclosures.
It's interesting the sound you can get from Remenham, because you and I both use rowed for Remenham clubs, and sometimes can put crews off. Generally it gives you a lift, and it's a really good time too, because you can see in the back of our picture now there's a couple of fields where there's just a narrow bit of riverbank, and the course is really quiet. You can see they then come into the enclosures and they get a lot of noise there, but this is a quiet part of the river, and often crews can go a little bit off their rhythm. They can lose half the length. So it's a really interesting phase of the race now. London looking very composed with this view.
Yeah, that's interesting. Alex Holmes in the bow seat there. You can see they're wily, they're lean. They don't necessarily have the weight. So I guess in rowing, yes, you have to carry the weight down the course, but you actually get the weight moving, effectively sort of suspending the weight behind the handle. So there's only really 2 points of contact between your hands and between your feet, and almost weightless on your backside, and then you can use that weight to lever the boat down the course. And that's what this crew from Copenhagen are doing, using their body weight effectively to open up to about half a length.
And it's a heavier boat with a Cox as well, and that's why it favours the heavier crew. And as you'll remember from your experience with a Cox pair, it's even worse. You know, each athlete has to help propel them, not just the weight of the boat, but also the Cox.
And the feeling you get in the Coxed 4 compared to the Coxless is that the blades are connected to the water just for a little bit longer. So you should have that feeling that you're moving the boat further and for longer. So again, avoiding that feeling of slapping at it and trying to be too quick, having that feeling of levering it, of pushing it, of shunting the boat along, where you're connected with your legs and your back shunts back, and then finish the stroke up with your arms. And the Copenhagen crew look like they're doing that effectively, and maybe like they're starting to move a little bit here in front of the enclosures.
Yeah, you'll see London, they're taking an extra 1 or 2 strokes a minute. They're trying to keep in contact with the crew from Copenhagen. And they've got about a minute left, and if they're going to do anything, they need to do it now.
Yeah, they'll need a serious change of pace. Perhaps the slightly smaller, lighter crew might be able to make that change of pace, bring the stroke rate up. It'll be Rob Williams in the stroke seat who needs to make that move happen now. Experience there needs to pay off, but they're coming down, they're past their progress board. It's 10 strokes to the line now.
London are coming back, but I think they haven't got enough time. They're running out of river now with only a few strokes left.
And as they come through, that is the win for DSR Copenhagen over the London Rowing Club in that heat of the Britannia Challenge Cup.